Ray here, back at it again with a bit of a different video. Gonna be real with you, gonna get straight to the damn point. Master Duel came out like 4 days ago. I haven't slept in 3 days because I've been grinding the game. I have already put 33 hours into this game over the course of like 3 days. And I got to Platinum 4 in the course of like a couple days with True Draco. I'm gonna be real with you, this deck is disgusting. I don't know how this is legal. Some of this stuff is ridiculous and it is not allowed in the TCG. But Master Duel's weird ban list, which is kind of a combination of both ours and what they have over in Asia, means I can build this degenerate strategy. I'm going to be real with you, if you've ever played True Draco, there's nothing too crazy here, but let's assume that you're an Edison player who's really confused as to why I have not uploaded an Edison video, and I'm going to be real, this is more of a one-off thing, probably won't make more Master Duel content unless you guys want it, but my god, I had to tell you guys about this deck, I love this so much. Alright, so first of all, main deck, I'd just like to point out we are running 3, 6, 9, 12 draw spells main deck, because we want to be as consistent as possible. Some mad lad thought it was okay to run to allow 3 upstart in this format. Anybody who ashes an upstart is an idiot, so you're almost always going to get this off. Into the Void is just another upstart goblin. So that already brings our deck down from a 40 card deck to a 36 card deck, which is pretty damn great. Pot of Duality is one of the greatest draw spells ever printed, arguably. It literally broke the game when it got printed, and it's still amazing because it digs 3 deep, which usually is enough to get to any card you might need to unbrick your hand. Card of Demise is, in my opinion, like the most powerful legal draw spell in the game. You draw 3 if you don't have any other cards in hand, which in this deck you are very likely to not have, which is, every time I activate this card, I feel like I'm getting away with something I shouldn't be able to do, you know? Just playing a card that says draw 3. It's a bit good. It's a bit good. That card advantage tends to just win you the game on the spot. This is all about going first, right? We dig for some of the most disgusting cards in the game, like Imperial Order and Vanity's Emptiness. Usually, resolving these 2 cards is enough to win the game. Sky Striker instantly loses to Imperial Order. Any Pendulum deck loses to Imperial Order. A lot of Ritual decks lose to Imperial Order. Fusion decks lose to Imperial Order. Did you know this is a good card? And since we're running 12 draw spells, the chance of you drawing into it is surprisingly high. Now you might be thinking, oh, but Ray, we run a bunch of spells. Doesn't matter if it wins us the game. Now, Vanity's Emptiness, equally, neither player can special summon. All of our monsters say tribute summon, we don't care about this. Oh no, it turns off our True King's return. Who cares if we win the game? That's basically this whole deck, it's like, who cares, we win now. You go first, and you usually win turn 1. And if you don't, you can set up so many interruptions that your opponent's not winning. I'm gonna be real. Let's go over the monster lineup. You have 3 monsters in this deck. Majesty Maiden, Ignis Heat, and Dynamite Knight. Majesty Maiden, like all True Dracos, can be tributed by attributing a continuous spell or trap. It searches any of your monsters. This allows you to set up potential interruptions, because if you have Majesty Maiden on the field, during your opponent's turn, when they activate any card, you chain its effect. And then if you have one of the traps, both traps let you tribute summon on your opponent's turn. And if you tribute one of the traps, you can use it to destroy a monster. So that could be a very important piece of interruption you can set up with Majesty Maiden. Ignis Heat searches your spells. Your spells in this deck aren't really useful to search on your opponent's turn because they don't do anything on your opponent's turn, obviously. So Dynamite Knight here is a lot better because he does search your traps, which you can use for interruption on your opponent's deck. This deck is all about saying interruptions. And learning to play this deck is all about learning how to use your interruptions and when to use them against which decks. We do amazing against control decks because, again, Imperial Order, Skill Drain, Vanity's Emptiness. And Monarch's Erupt, for those of you who don't know, is Skill Drain if we control a Tribute Summon monster, which we almost always will. True King's Return is Call of the Haunted that doesn't equip basically, and also lets us tribute summon during our opponent's turn, which lets us either pop a spell if we use this as the tribute material, or pop a monster if we use this as the tribute material. True Draco Apocalypse wins you games so much because apparently no player in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever actually read this card, because the amount of times I've activated it in the damage step and people just don't seem to know what it does is crazy. It halves the attack and defense of all monsters your opponent controls. And because it can be activated in the damage step, it's very hard to interact with, because very few cards can be interacted with in the damage step. As if all this wasn't already great enough, you know, a tribute summonable deck that can stop your opponent playing any cards, activating any effects, and potentially even special summoning on turn 1, it gets better. This deck is budget if you go about it. The only ultra rare I run is Upstart Goblin, and legitimately you could cut this for other cards. You could cut this for more skill drains if you really wanted. Some people cut it for torrential. You can just run whatever you want in this deck. You can run floodgates, you can run generic traps, you can run negates. It's up to you, as long as you run the base True Draco engine, which is basically just a bunch of rares and a couple super rares. You can throw this deck together on nothing. I'm a free-to-play player. I do not plan on spending money on this game. But, you know, there you go. I've still managed to get here, and I've managed to get to Platinum. Now, let's go straight to some games here. I love playing this deck, so I don't mind just throwing out some games, and let's see if we can show some players what it means to play against this deck. Let's see how quickly we can end a man's life. Yuwuki. Okay, they've got the Pot of Greed thing, so they've played this game a lot. Ooh, we win the coin flip. Let's go. Going first. Alright, watch. We are going to brick, despite drawing 12 going first cards. This happens all the time. Alright, let's see what we drew. Oh god, computer, please do not freeze. So let me think here. We have, I mean, we just Upstart Goblin. Are you gonna Ash it? Oh, they don't even have a response. Okay, Upstart and Upstart. This is a bit weird, but I'll take it. Not the best opening hand. I'm gonna be real. Part of me wants to say the correct play is to just not play at all here. No, actually, that's not correct. We want to get one summon off this turn. We're going to tribute this. This will let our opponent know what we're playing, so they can potentially play around it. But I'm going to be real. A surprising amount of players don't know how to play around this deck anyway, so what do I care? We're going to tribute summon using the Dynamite Might during their turn, which will get us... yeah. Do I really want to do that? It's a bit difficult. This gets us potentially another True Draco Apocalypse, but if we want to activate the damage effect... Oh, okay, foolish. I guess we Chainlink one this. Let's see if they have an Ash. Did they draw one? Or do they have a response at all? Okay, no, they don't have a response. That probably wasn't the best idea. Can they still... They might have still been able to activate Gamma in this situation, so that might not have been the best play. But, yeah. This isn't a deck where you should necessarily click buttons. You should probably play around the commonly used negation tools. Like, again, Ash is kind of... Oh god, this is Trilyrilisk. They kind of lose to Monarch's Erupt, so we just have to hope they don't have an out to this. Okay, on summon, we're going to flip up that Monarch's Erupt. They are not going to get that off. Now, I'm going to want to hold off the Tribute Summon until we get until I summon Shureg here. Usually, popping the Shureg, unless they have a Revolt to set, does slow the deck down quite a bit. A lot of playing True Dracos is just knowing what specifically to interrupt. Yeah, they don't have a response here. That's good. That's what we like to see. They could still potentially make plays, but with their monster effects negated, we are in a much better position to play here. So now we just see what our opponent wants to do. Side note, this game is great. I cannot believe this is free to play. I've not spent a penny on this game. Yeah, it's so good. Like, it's so easy to play free to play as well. All you need to do is basically just buy packs with free gems. Also, I think our opponent is thinking if there's anything they can even do here. They're just sitting on nothing. Hello? Opponent? Where art thou? If you control a level 1 monster... I actually don't know what they add with this or what these cards necessarily... I don't know what all the Lyrilless cards do, to be honest. Yeah, sure, go ahead with the Where Art Thou. I don't see how that majorly changes this. Okay, I don't know what that one does. Does that let them special summon it? Are they going to link away or go into an Xyz? Maybe. But even if they do, it will be a vanilla, so ultimately, how much do I care? Not really much, probably. I can still activate effects in the hand, but do they know that? Have they read Monarch's Erupt? Maybe. Again, I think I still have the opportunity to flip this and tribute it off to act as a monster removal spell, essentially. That also puts another trap on board, which I can use as a second monster removal spell, because I can tribute summon Ignis Heat if I summon True King's Return. Oh! They give up! Welcome to True Dracos, where 90% of the time your opponent scoops. You don't have to think. Did that show the deck off? I guess it did. The goal is to outthink your opponent and then wait for them to rage quit when they realize they cannot deal with any of the cards you have on the field. Hope you guys have a good one. That was True Dracos. True Draco Apocalypse bottom text.